All right, everyone, welcome back to another Coyote Radio show and podcast. Today we are talking to Mike of the Tillers. They've been around for a long time now, and I've been a fan. I've always supported them. And Mike's a great guy, nice guy. Go see them live. You won't be disappointed. Very energetic, upbeat, great, talented musicians, and just good around folks all around. So you won't be disappointed, I promise. But before we talk to Mike, I do want to say thanks to everyone for supporting the show. The podcast is growing. We do have the website up. You can also keep the show rolling. Donate a couple bucks if you would. Links all in the description. And share the podcast with someone that you know that likes music. That goes a long way. You wouldn't believe how much that helps. So, yeah. So, that covers everything. Let's go talk to Mike. Well, first I got to say thanks for joining us, man. It's been a long time coming, I feel.
Yeah, it has. Stop.
Yeah.
Me not technologically advanced enough yet, and now we're here.
Yeah. So if you would, Mike, kind of give me the beginnings of, you know, how you came to be in the music scene and how the Tillers kind of formed. We should probably start there since your first time on the show.
Yeah, sure. In the music scene, well, I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot recently because I found some really cool recordings of like my second or third punk rock band, which was called The Resurgence. And we made this 17 song. I was just writing songs like crazy. This was probably like 2003 or 4. And we wrote a 17 song, like full album. I swear it took me like a month. And I think I've been thinking about that a lot because it's been so hard for me to write lately, but that's okay. Different seasons of life. But yeah, I don't know, real quick, I started out on piano as a kid, started learning guitar and bass and drums as a teenager. Had a bunch of bands that, kid bands that teen bands, that we formed, and we're learning how to do things like make our own tapes, make our own posters, promote, support our friends, have basement shows, have garage shows, stuff like that. Learning how much I loved that aspect of things and building community. And then getting into, folk music and Woody Guthrie and songwriting. I mean, I've always been into songwriting. I've never felt like, a songwriter, but I've always loved songwriting, and I've had a need to write. So maybe I am a little bit of a songwriter, but I don't know. I've written some, then the Tillers came into being created by me and Sean in 2007, and about to come up on 17 years. Is that right? 16 years? Where are we? How much time has passed? Yeah. So yeah, wild. We played our first show as a duo at this little bar called Al's Bar in Fort Thomas, Kentucky, in August of 2007. So time flies.
Yeah, I know. That's wild.
So that's the quick history of it all. But
right.
But I also love. I started playing the uilleann pipes a few years ago. So that's been a new musical challenge. That instrument is so hard, the Irish bagpipes. There's so much going on. So that's been a fun new musical challenge, to try and figure out how to wrangle that instrument, make any sounds on it that aren't nearly terrible.
Yeah, I think I saw you playing that on Instagram or something like that, and I was just like, man, it looks like a challenge. That and the accordion just like blow my mind. I don't, that's two instruments I can't wrap my head around.
Yeah, I can handle um the button accordion. Not a concertina so much, but um I find it's just like playing my harmonica. So the ins and the outs, are in the same spots. So
Oh, okay.
if that makes any sense. But
Yeah. Yeah, it actually does. Similar sound too when you know, in and out.
yeah, all reads. So yeah.
Um so when you were growing up, obviously like you said you were in a bunch of different bands. Most of them were punk bands, I'm assuming.
Yep.
What and what kind of and I'm was it just strictly punk that you were listening to or did you have other stuff in rotation as far as music or
Oh yeah, like I have always listened to lots of different styles of music. Um uh but punk rock has always been my, as a teenager especially, was my number one pick, and um my favorite. So, and I didn't really want to start any bands that weren't punk bands. Um I probably wouldn't really know how.
yeah.
But it was like a great feeling to get together with your friends who were in the same bands and see if you could play some of the songs that you heard, um or if you could write your own song, or if your buddy could write their own song, um and then create together. That was a whole new feeling. It's one thing to play somebody else's song, but when you create with one of your friends, and it's even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was listening to lots of different stuff. That would have been the 1990s, and I was listening to a lot of ska bands, and um I loved reggae and ska and punk rock, and um I I listened to a lot of um trying to like dig back in what my record collection would have looked like, but it was pretty eclectic.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked, it seems like a lot of people that I have on this show, and it could just be my taste in music in general, but so many, I'd say like 90% of the guests I have on the show come from a punk rock, punk or metal background and somehow end up in like the folk bluegrass country world. So it's just like this transition as we get older. It's like the adult version of the punk world. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's for sure. I mean, like I said, with me, especially coming from like the education that I had developed through punk rock, of doing music on my own terms, and nothing was ever really about getting bigger. It was just about playing more shows, I guess, or
Yeah.
finding a place to play, maybe getting into like a legit venue, because most of the places we were playing were house shows. But those ended up being more fun than venue shows, because I don't know, it was just more of this tight knit community, um and really feeling like you were doing it yourself. But getting to play a venue for the first time, and the feeling of that, and maybe making like $20 in pay was also a cool feeling. um my band, the Resurgence, one of my punk bands, we got to open for Agent Orange at Top Cats in Cincinnati, and that was like a huge deal. It was getting to
Yeah.
finally like open up for a band that I'd been listening to, for years and admiring. Um, Actually, I think I still have that. I think I have that poster on the wall. You want to see it?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay, cool. We're in my garage. We're hanging out in my garage, which used to be the band space for all the punk bands a lot of my friends punk bands. So there's our flyer.
What year was that?
It says April 16th, but probably 2005.
Okay.
That's 5, I'd say. Yeah, like that.
That's awesome.
But I forget what the question was because I got too excited.
Oh, we're just talking about the transitioning from, just
yeah,
how
and like
there's a lot of similarities that cross
Yeah.
over and people don't really think about.
Yep, most definitely. Especially with the community aspect, and everybody kind of maybe approaching the music in the first place because of how much we love that sort of raw and stripped down feeling of the music and the raw expression, um, and just the heart and soul behind it. Those are that's all like way good comparisons. I feel like if you can understand one music form that's all about just breaking it down and exposing your soul, then you're going to understand how that comes across in other music forms that are real and raw.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So what grabbed you? What made you make the transition? You mentioned Woody Guthrie. What did you like hear a song or see a particular show or
just a lot of it was Woody Guthrie in the beginning for sure. And that's probably what grabbed me at first because I was reading this zine, like this punk rock zine called Polybra Punk. It was like a local zine. It was fairly political, and there was this article in it called "Taking Back Country Music," and here I am reading this punk rock zine, and I'm reading about Woody Guthrie and Joe Hill and Pete Seeger, and so then I had to check it out right away. And I remember I was reading that on the bus, riding on the bus to work, and I worked downtown, and the main downtown library was right next to my work, and I swear it was that day that I went and checked out a bunch of the musicians that or works by like Joe Hill, by other music. But I think I checked stuff out that day that I had read about it. But I had been to an Arlo Guthrie concert as a teenager. So my mom asked me to go and said, yeah, let's go. I was always up for going to a show. And I didn't really know who Arlo Guthrie was, but I went with my mom. It was at the Aronoff Center. And I loved it so much. And then after the show, I bought a CD that I thought was Arlo Guthrie, but it was Woody Guthrie recordings. So I had this CD too. I didn't really know what to think of it when I got it. I was like, oh, wait, this isn't Arlo, this is um but um but then, I kind of dug that out as well and
Yeah.
listened. And my dad had a tape at the house too that um I'm recalling, and there was like Doc Watson and Woody Guthrie on it. And I knew about it, I had like seen the name, and so I had to go like search and find it. So there were little bits and pieces of Woody Guthrie already around in my
Right.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
I just had to connect with them. So
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I love Woody Guthrie. Actually, now that you say that, I gotta. Well, it was right there.
what you got?
I've been reading one of his books, biography book about him, and it's like
Oh,
it's super thick. It's like so detailed, almost too much detail, really. Like I want. It's like going in the depth about like where his great grandparents are from, all the way up to like now, and it's just I'm not through it all yet, but it's good, but it's almost over detailed to where you get kind of lost, you keeping names straight and all that. But
yeah. Have you
it's what a crazy
read
life and
about
story.
I keep thinking I should reread Bound for Glory. I don't know if you've read that one.
I have it. Yeah, I just picked it up. I don't know. I got a bunch of books. I just buy them as I see them, and I just start working through the order. But I haven't got to that one yet. I have it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm a kind of a music history nut at some point. Sometimes I just jump into all type of historical stuff. But
For sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
I think the other thing that grabbed me, I just thought of this, was that I've always gotten s- stuck or fixated on a new instrument to see if I could learn, um, because the sound of it will just captivate me. And I've always been a quick learner, with stringed instruments especially, um, but is the banjo that you know I was listening to a lot, when folk music kind of came in
Yeah,
to my life. And learning the banjo was like top priority. All of a sudden, it was like I had to like make that sound happen. I had to figure it out.
yeah.
And
That's where
so,
I'm at right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How you doing on it?
Yeah. Well, I just got a long way to go, but we got the claw hammer stuff going down. I really would like to play some old school like two finger stuff, but it's like retraining myself to do that. I don't even know if I want to mess with it. Probably just stick with some drop thumb for a while.
Yeah, I don't think you'd find it too difficult just to try to reset and you know investigate
Yeah.
some two. I think you could do it.
Oh, I know. It's finding time.
Right.
I have so many hobbies, it's ridiculous. If I could just focus all my energy into one thing, I think I'd be pretty good at something, but I'm really just kind of a mess.
I, I feel you.
So, so what's
I'm
life been lately? You've been touring and playing a little bit here and there, or?
yeah, the tillers are just like, I feel like after COVID, we've kind of just taken our time,
Hmm.
and we were doing more shows this year than last year, and more shows last year than the year before. So um like 2019, we were so busy, and besides that, I was also putting out my second solo album, 6 Feet of Earth. So 2019. Oh, and we were like going to the UK and doing some bigger trips, and I had a 2-year-old and 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 it was like lots to handle, and the community garden that we manage and the festival that I manage. And it was so, yeah, talk about doing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Not to drive you crazy. Keeps
2020 was, kind of like that reset, and now this year we've been hitting the road more. I feel like this year we've been getting back to some of those spots that we really love, that we just haven't been to, honestly, since 2019. And
yeah.
we want to see some friends again, and we're kind of designing the way we're hitting the road around revisiting some of those much needed to hit towns right around our, right around the region. But yeah, like we've gotten to do the some good shows on the road already. So
Yeah. Anything you're looking forward to show wise coming up within the next few months? I know you're doing the Whispering Beard, and I'm gonna
definitely,
try and come down for that weekend for sure.
yeah, you should totally come. Let's see. Yeah, well, we're doing a little tour. What's going on in August? Is that the beard? No, the beard is in September. Um, well, let's see. Oh, late August into September, we'll be up in Chicago again, and that's cool. And we're going back to um, Wisconsin for the Jack Pine Jamboree, which is great fun. And then let's see. In October, we're doing Berea, Knoxville, Bristol, Asheville, and Lexington. So that'll be a good little run.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you guys are out and about. And I
Yep.
also noticed you mentioned your solo project. Tell me more about the possum fat. I keep seeing the flyers. I saw this cool bandana somebody made for you, the possum logo on it.
Yeah.
What's that all
Yeah.
about? Is that just a jam session that you put together, or
No, possum fat was this idea that I had. It was it was last December. I got this quick idea to well, I have these people that I play with quite regularly through the years that are from the area here, Cincinnati area, that have just been my folk music mentors. Folks who have shown me so many things, or even from the beginning of me starting to learn this stuff, just kind of taking me and the rest of the Tillers really under their wing. The Rabbit Hash String Band, bringing me into playing squares with them and showing me what that world looks like. And their banjo player, Russ Childers, who was my teacher, showing me banjo stuff for 2 years. And then Gene Dowell, who is a songwriter, singer and songwriter, brilliant musician. And then Dr. Bill Williams from the Williams Family Band. All these folks who I've kind of been trying to promote and tell some of the young folk musicians and songwriters about how great they are. And I keep trying through all these years to expose them to these musicians and what they might be able to learn from them. But yeah, that was my idea for Possum Fat, was to get together with them again, because we hadn't gotten to play much through 2020 and 2021. And so I think it was getting to play with them again in 2022, and just how special it was to get to reconnect with them and finally get to play with them again. That I wanted to represent them to the communities. And so I started the Possum Fat Folk Music Showcase at the Loon. It's just a monthly showcase where I record it all live. It's like a live interview from the stage. I am not an interviewer, or nor do I aspire to be, but like,
Me either.
I just love to talk to these people and listen to them explain their musical road, through their lives.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a Rainbow Quest sort of idea of getting them up there and just talking freely about what life has looked like for them musically.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
that idea, and I hoped it would work out when I concocted the idea, and it really has. It's been every month has been incredible. So
Yeah. It's usually on a weekday, isn't it?
it's every first Wednesday
Yeah.
of the
That's why you haven't seen me yet. If you ever
yeah
make it a weekend, I'll come down and see if I could. We're not too far away, but
yeah.
the job gets in the way at work and stuff.
I was weary of doing weekends because I thought, well, it needs to be quiet enough for me to record. But
Yeah.
the Loon is where it happens in Northside, and the Loon is such a great listening room vibe. But it's been awesome. Like, the room will fill up on a Wednesday, and people are just they're into listening to the special guest, because the stories are always wonderful. Um,
Yeah.
and
That's awesome.
some months aren't an interview. Some months we just do a social, like, jam or a session, and players come and play together, and I still record it because
Yeah.
it's big.
I think
So
that's probably what I saw and thought it was just like a jam session, but
right,
yeah, that's a great idea. That's awesome you're doing that and recording it. The
yeah, it's been good.
You mentioned the square dances. See, I wouldn't know if there's anything like that even around here. Do you
Hmm.
know anything in the Indianapolis area where squares happen?
I'm not in touch with what's going on there, square
Yeah.
dance, but
I always thought the history behind that alone was so cool. Um, yeah, let me know next time you guys have something like that. I would come down for something like that too, just to see it.
right, yeah, the Rabbit Hash String Band, they've always kind of been the band that's thrown all the squares. That um, when I was apprenticing with Russ in 2010 and 11, I believe were the years. Um, there was a really steady square dance, the North Side Square Dance, and it was big. Like, it would be at the North Side Tavern, and it would get packed. But somehow that kind of faded away through the years. But
Yeah.
the new one sounds like he does too.
Yeah. Yeah. I had Willie Carlisle talk on the show, and him being from Arkansas, and a lot of the square dance stuff that happens in the Ozarks is just so fascinating to me. Uh, yeah, I wish that tradition would continue more, and you'd hear more. It's
Hmm.
very, niche kind of certain communities um, within different regions, but but it's great you guys have something like that down your way.
Yeah, we used to have. Well, we've had a few square dances at the community garden here at Paper Street Farm, and we just had a square at Sailor Park Sustains Festival. So yeah, I'll let you know next time.
That's awesome. Good deal. Um, what else was I was going to ask you? Oh, any foreseeable new music in the future for the Tillers?
Yeah,
Guys talking about hitting the studio at some point or something?
well, we haven't. I mean, yeah, we've got these different ideas, going of what that might look like, and uh, what that might sound like, what that might feel like, because um, it's four guys with lots of different musical influences as well.
Right.
So yeah, we've definitely been talking about it, that's for sure, and talking about what we want to see out of it, and how we want it to work, and how we want the process to kind of feel, and what we want the songs to be about. And so it's kind of an exciting time right now, because we're really woodshedding, and getting excited about putting something together. So
Yeah.
um
Well, good deal. Definitely keep me
it's kind of
posted.
that feeling where like, you can tell uh everybody really wants to be creative right now, and there's an energy behind it. It's just everybody stopping to take the time to let that process begin.
Right.
And
Yeah.
life moves so fast sometimes, and you have to get into those creative spaces.
Yeah. It's like you almost have to force yourself. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
hard. That's hard to do. But once you get there and like the initial step, then everything just starts to flow. But
right. Yep. So
my wife and I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty creative person, and I went to art school and all that. And my wife, same way, as far as, she's pretty artistic herself. And I told her, I was like, I just feel like I need to like create stuff and have an outlet. I was like, all right, starting here soon, like one night a week, it's like art night, whatever you want to do. Like write something, write a song, paint, draw. I went to school for photography, so set up the studio and snap something. I need some sort of like a outlet.
yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, man, I really appreciate you being on and sharing your time with us. Uh, I'm gonna come down, like I said, and see if I can make it down the Whispering Beard, and excited to see what you guys might do in the future with the Tillers, and try to make one of them square dances too, like I said.
Awesome. Yeah. No, thanks so much for having me on. It's been a long time coming, like you said, but I'm really grateful that you wanted me to come and talk to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I've been a fan for a long time of what you guys have done, and um, I don't know how many shows I've seen you play over the years, over the past probably 10 years. I don't know, but um, should someone, as far as like social media, where should people find you at? You got a website or?
yeah, I mean, the Tillers are on the Facebooks and the Instagrams, and then our website is just uh, the-tillers.com. I had to
Okay.
think of that. But yeah, good stuff coming down the line.
All right, man. All right, Mike. Well, we'll be in touch, and like I said, I appreciate it.
Cool. Sounds good, Justin. Thank you, man.